1976 was a strange year in music. Soft rock floated out of car windows on late-night highways, disco shimmered through neon bars, and the world sang along without realizing some of those voices would barely be heard again. Artists who caught lightning in a bottle. One perfect song that was everywhere for a moment and then slipped through their fingers.
Ho, 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 it's magic, you know.
In this video, we look at 7 songs that burned bright, ruled the airwaves, and then faded from the charts, but never really died in people's memories. Number 7, Afternoon Delight, Starland vocal bands. At first listen, Afternoon Delight sounds harmless. A breezy soft rock song that feels like a lazy day in the sun. Underneath that friendly surface, it's about something a lot more adult. It's a playful celebration of midday romance, wrapped in harmonies so sweet that half the country sang along without really thinking about the lyrics.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight.
It was written by Bill Danoff, who had already helped write Take Me Home Country Roads with John Denver. Someone who knew exactly how to build a melody that sticks and a lyric that sounds gentle even when it's a bit cheeky.
And we know the night is always gonna be here anyway.
Musically, it's pure mid-70s soft rock comfort. Layered vocals, warm guitars, and that whistled melody that crawls into your head and refuses to leave. You can picture it playing in a diner, in the background of a car ride, or at a backyard barbecue without anyone raising an eyebrow. And it didn't just make noise, it exploded. Afternoon Delight hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and helped Starland Vocal Band win the Grammy for Best New Artist, an award with a strange curse. It often goes to artists who shine incredibly bright, then almost vanish from the charts afterward. That's exactly what happened. Follow-up singles didn't connect, listeners moved on, and the band eventually disbanded, leaving behind one huge, unforgettable hit, and not much else at that level. But Afternoon Delight is still out there. You hear it on nostalgia playlists, in movie soundtracks, and in TV comedies that want to wink at that mix of sweetness and suggestiveness. For some people, it's a direct line back to being young in the 70s. For others, it's that "oh, this song" moment when the chorus hits. A sugary time capsule of 1976 with a knowing smile underneath.
Afternoon Delight.
Number 6, Play That Funky Music, Wild Cherry. The story of Play That Funky Music is one of rock's great ironies. Wild Cherry started as a rock band from Ohio, trying to survive at a time when dance music was taking over clubs and rock bands were suddenly fighting for attention. Every time they played live, they heard the same shout from the crowd. Play that funky music, white boy. What started as a heckle stuck in frontman Rob Parissi's mind. Instead of ignoring it, he turned it into fuel, building a song directly on that phrase. Not as a tribute, but almost as an answer. Fine, you want funky music? Here it is.
Never had no problems, yeah. Burning down the
And it worked. Play That Funky Music rides on a tight, hypnotic bass line, sharp guitar stabs, locked-in drums, and Parissi's swaggering vocal that lives between rock attitude and dance floor confidence. The song rocketed up the charts, hit number 1, and turned into an instant party anthem, blasting at weddings, backyard parties, clubs, and radio stations all over the country.
Play that fucking music, white boy.
Here's the twist. A lot of listeners assumed Wild Cherry were a full-on funk or disco group. But at heart, they were still a rock band that stepped into the world of dance music for one giant moment. Their attempt to poke at the trend ended up turning them into part of it, at least in the eyes of the audience. After that, the band struggled to catch that lightning again. Later singles barely charted, and by the end of the decade, they were basically gone from the mainstream. The song, though, never left. Play That Funky Music kept showing up in movies, TV shows, commercials, and samples, with an opening groove so recognizable you can identify it in 2 seconds. Even younger listeners who have no idea who Wild Cherry were can still shout the chorus. The record became bigger than the group that made it. Rock's accidental surrender to the disco and funk era, and a song that absolutely refuses to die.
When they were dancing and singing,
Number 5. Turn the Beat Around, Vicki Sue Robinson. Turn the Beat Around doesn't ease you in. It kicks the door open. From the first second, you're hit with a storm of percussion and a wall of horns that sound like someone just announced the party has officially started. There's no slow build. You're dropped straight onto the dance floor.
Turn the beat around. Love to hear percussion.
Released in 1976, it stood out in the crowded disco scene for what it was actually about. Most disco tracks chase love, heartbreak, seduction, or nightlife drama. Turn the Beat Around is different. It's a love letter to rhythm itself.
Monkeys just sound pretty. Your Bible, let's keep moving to the nitty-gritty.
The lyrics obsess over percussion, over the drums, over the heartbeat of the music. When she sings Turn the Beat Around, love to hear percussion, it sounds like she's yelling to the DJ, flip the record, crank the volume, don't let this feeling die. The song climbed to number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a staple in New York clubs.
Player, play your flute, 'cause I know that you wanna get your thing.
But like a lot of disco stories, the spotlight was short. When the disco backlash hit near the end of the decade, many careers were swept away with it. And Robinson's follow-up releases never matched the impact of Turn the Beat Around. By the 80s, she was doing commercial work and stage roles, staying active but far from that one blazing moment. The song refused to go quietly. In the 90s, Gloria Estefan's high-energy cover brought Turn the Beat Around back to radio and MTV. But for disco fans, Robinson's original is still the definitive version. Raw, powerful, a little wild around the edges. Listening now is like opening a time capsule. A packed club, a spinning mirror ball, and a few minutes where nothing exists except the beat.
Turn the beat around. Love to hear.
Number 4. Shannon, Henry Gross. '70s soft rock has a reputation for being gentle. Acoustic guitars, smooth vocals, songs about love and longing. But every now and then, a soft rock song hits harder than you expect, and Shannon is one of those.
No one can even begin to tell her.
In 1976, Henry Gross, who had played with revival group Shannon, released this ballad. On the surface, it sounds like a typical emotional soft rock track. What makes it different is the story behind it. Shannon was written for a real dog, an Irish setter loved by Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. Gross took that small personal loss and turned it into something that feels much bigger. The track floats on gentle guitars, airy production, and harmonies that nod toward the Beach Boys sound, with Gross's voice trembling just enough to feel like the emotion is close to breaking through. When he sings, "Shannon is gone, I hope she's drifting out to sea," it almost feels like a lullaby until you know the context.
Mama tries hard to pretend.
A lot of listeners didn't realize it was about a dog. Many heard it as a song about losing a person or watching a relationship slip away. And that broader reading helped it connect. Shannon reached number 1, 6 in the US and number 1 in Canada, becoming one of those tracks you might forget by title but instantly recognize when the chorus starts. After that, Gross never matched that level of success. Later singles made small ripples, but Shannon remained his defining moment on the charts. Today, you mostly find it tucked into 70s and soft rock compilations. But for the people who truly connect with it, Shannon is a stop-everything song. It's proof that a song doesn't have to be loud or complex to be powerful. Sometimes a simple melody and honest emotion last longer than the fame of the person who wrote it. Grief, love, and the feeling of losing someone who mattered. Those never go out of date. Number 3. Convoy, C.W. McCall.
Arizona.
Long before anything could go viral online, Convoy spread the old-fashioned way, radio and word of mouth. On paper, it sounds like a strange candidate for a number 1 hit. A song built around CB radio chatter between truck drivers.
He's 10 on the floor, stroking bores, seat cover starting the game. Now Beaver, you a trucking with.
Yet, in January 1976, Convoy did the impossible. It hit number 1 on both the pop and country charts. C.W. McCall was the stage persona of Bill Fries, an advertising man who, along with composer Chip Davis, created this trucker storyteller character. They mixed outlaw country attitude with CB radio slang, the language spreading among truckers and curious listeners. The song opens with Breaker 19, This Here's Rubber Duck, and suddenly you're inside a rolling movie about a massive convoy of trucks pushing back against the rules and roaring across America. It's part protest, part road adventure, and part inside joke for anyone who understood CB culture. For a little while, America was obsessed.
So he followed the line and he bided his time and he watched for his chance to strike.
Truck stop slang slipped into everyday conversations, and people with no connection to trucking started buying CB radios just to listen and talk. Convoy tapped into a fantasy of freedom. Long highways, roaring engines, regular people pushing back against authority. The success went beyond the single. There was a feature film, merchandise, toy trucks, even Halloween costumes. But like most fads, it burned fast. When the CB craze cooled, so did mainstream interest in C.W. McCall. Bill Fries eventually stepped away from the spotlight, while Chip Davis went on to create Mannheim Steamroller and find a completely different kind of success. Even so, Convoy still feels like one of the strangest #1 hits in chart history. Half novelty, half cultural time capsule. Listening now is like tuning into a lost frequency from the mid-70s. Static, overlapping voices, and a temporary community built between strangers on the road. It captures a moment when technology, culture, and music lined up for one unlikely hit and then kept moving. Number 2, Don't Give Up on Us, David Soul. Sometimes fame comes from the wrong direction. In 1976, David Soul wasn't known as a singer at all. He was the blonde cop from Starsky and Hutch, a TV heartthrob, not a soft rock crooner.
Don't give up on us, baby. Don't make the...
So when he released Don't Give Up on Us, a lot of people expected a cheap tie-in. Instead, they got one of the most tender ballads of the decade, with quiet strings, simple acoustic guitar, and a vocal that sounds more vulnerable than polished. It feels less like a performance and more like a confession whispered through radio static.
Don't give up on us, baby. We're still worth one.
It isn't flashy, it's just a man asking someone he loves not to walk away. Don't Give Up on Us went all the way to #1 in both the US and the UK, turning a TV star into an unlikely chart topper. The theme, begging for a second chance, felt personal, almost autobiographical, and listeners leaned in instead of rolling their eyes.
It's written in the moonlight.
But television fame burns fast. Soul's follow-up singles never hit as hard, especially in America. And by the late 70s, his music career was fading into the background behind reruns and nostalgia. In later years, he admitted that Don't Give Up on Us became a ghost that followed him everywhere. A beautiful memory audiences never let him escape. He could act, work on stage, but wherever he went, there was always someone humming that chorus. Today, when those opening chords come on, it feels like a message from a more innocent era. A time when a TV star could step up to a microphone and for 3.5 minutes, sound less like a celebrity and more like someone quietly begging not to lose the best thing in his life. It's a reminder that sometimes one moment of sincerity can outlast an entire career.
On us, baby.
Number 1, Magic, Pilot. Few songs bottle pure optimism the way Magic does. Released by Scottish band Pilot, it floated onto the charts in the mid-70s and wrapped itself around one line everyone still remembers. It's magic. You know.
Ho, 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 it's magic, you know.
Written by David Payton and Billy Lyle, both former members of the Bay City Rollers, Magic is built on light. Part glam pop sparkle, part early soft rock ease. It's simple, melodic, and irresistibly uplifting. Like waking up on a day when everything somehow feels possible.
Never been away, never seen a day break, leaning on my...
Behind that brightness, though, there was frustration. The song soared higher than the band's name ever did. Magic reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, hit number 11 in the UK, and went to number 1 in Canada with gold certification and heavy radio rotation. But the follow-up singles fell away almost instantly in the US, and Pilot never came close to that level again there. As disco, punk, and harder rock took over, they were quietly pushed to the edges, another band swallowed by changing trends.
Ho, 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 it's magic. You know.
The song, though, never really left. Magic drifted into commercials, movies, and kids' films, turning that chorus into shorthand for wonder itself. When that final "you know" comes around, it hits less like a lyric and more like reassurance. A small voice saying that some things really are as good as you remember. Pilot's moment on the charts was brief, but their spark still glows every time someone smiles at that opening guitar line. That's the magic of one-hit wonders. The bands may disappear, but the feeling they captured refuses to fade. Every decade has its one-hit wonders. Songs that appear out of nowhere, take over the airwaves, and then vanish from the charts as quickly as they arrived. But 1976 sits in a special place, a crossroads where disco, soft rock, country, and funk all share the same dial. One twist of the knob and you could jump from mirror ball anthems to truck stop storytelling to tender soft rock in seconds. In that mix, the artists behind these songs each got one perfect moment. They were everywhere. In cars, diners, roller rinks, living rooms, late-night talk shows. Then slowly, the playlist changed. New trends took over, new names filled the charts, and a lot of these artists slipped into the background. But fame isn't really about how long it lasts. It's about who still remembers. If a song can still make someone smile in the first few seconds or bring tears to their eyes, that song has done its job. If you've got your own 1976 one-hit memory, a song that takes you straight back the second it starts, drop it in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the songs that shaped whole summers, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next trip back in time.